Stop spending money on ads. Seriously, stop. Everything you've been told about getting customers is backwards. First, you were told to spend money that you don't have on ineffective ads, and it's slowly killing your business. Second, no one taught you that the customers that you get for free stick around way longer than the ones that you buy. And third, you've been told that he who has the most money, and in this case it means ad spend, usually wins. Well, you're not there yet, but we're going to help get you there beginning today. And today, we're going to show you the only 3 ways to acquire customers for free. So welcome to Spaghetti to Strategy. I'm Bill Walker, and with me today, as always, is my good friend Gregg Lawrence. And Greg, we've got a huge question to answer today. How do I get more customers if I don't have a big marketing budget?
Good question. And here's the thing. Most people believe that they have to have a big marketing budget to get customers. The reality is you do not need a large marketing budget to start creating opportunities. In fact, you don't need any money to start creating opportunities. I like to look at it this way. Advertising buys attention, but attention can also be earned. So first of all, let's talk about a trap that many small business owners fall into. So a lot of small businesses fall into this trap. They know they need more customers. Well, to get customers, they think I need leads. Okay. Well, to get leads, I need advertising. Okay. Well, I can't afford advertising. So I guess I'm stuck. And
Totally.
yeah, this is the little cycle, the little trap that a lot of business owners get stuck in. So today we're going to challenge that thinking. Advertising can absolutely help grow a business, but advertising is only one way of getting someone's attention. So, Bill, when someone says, I can't afford to market my business, are they really saying they can't afford marketing, or are they saying they can't afford advertising?
Oh, they're totally saying they can't afford advertising. That's like the 4th thing on the list. I can't afford advertising. Man, but here's the problem. I'm a small business owner. I can't afford advertising. I feel like I'm stuck, but I need advertising to get more leads.
And that's where a lot of people get stuck. So let's look at 3 groups of people that you could potentially reach without spending any money. Okay, that's what today's show is about. Yes, you need marketing. I would say that's different than advertising. So let's look at 3 groups of people you could potentially reach without spending not only thousands of dollars, but without spending any money at all. So the first one is people you already know. Let's start with the easiest place. Before you want to go out there and try and get the attention of complete strangers, let's take a look at who already knows you. Okay. If you've been in business at all, you've got past customers. You've got current customers. You may have old leads. You may have people who've requested estimates or bids. You might have prospects who didn't buy anything in the past, but maybe they're ready now. You have an email list of contacts. You've got people that are already in your database. You have people in your, contact lists. You have a lot of people that already know you. So how many potential customers do you think are already sitting in your phone, in your email, your CRM, your database, etc.? A lot of businesses spend money continuously bringing on new people through the front door while completely ignoring everyone who's already come through the door previously. So, Bill, I want to ask you that question. How many potential customers do you think are already sitting in your phone, in your contacts, people you already know?
So how many potential customers do you think I have in my contacts? I don't know. That's a great question.
Well, let's
Let
simplify
me,
it. More than one?
most
At least
definitely.
one?
Well, one of the things you said that made me think of a fun little story about a friend of mine. So I've got a friend who's a financial advisor, and it's really interesting. He joined a team after he went through FA training. He joined a team, and his role on the team was to go through and look for business from their existing client base. So it wasn't to go try to find new clients. It was to try to deal with clients that at one time in the past had opened an account. And usually, you've been in the business and insurance and stuff. If somebody quits, that client gets assigned to somebody else. So if you're a financial advisor who's been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years, you've inherited a lot of business or dead business over the years. And his job was to start contacting them. And on one team, there were 3,000 people that had opened accounts. They weren't necessarily the biggest clients, but they had opened accounts in the past that nobody had ever followed up on. And his job was to start calling them. And oh my goodness, he was busy. So he didn't go out networking like some of the other brokers that were the big extroverts that love doing it. He was just trying to provide customer service to the ones that they had that had been forgotten. He found all kinds of business just waiting to happen on these people that had been previously neglected. It's absolutely insane. And then he had to move and he changed states and he joined another team with the same role. And they had like 1,500 clients. I mean, I can't possibly imagine being with a group of people that this is what we do every day. And we've inherited 1,500 people that have never been contacted.
You said something that I've heard. I think most of us have probably heard, and we say it instinctively, and it's a mindset. You said he inherited a bunch of dead leads,
Yes.
right? If something's dead, it's dead. What he inherited, and this is the shift we need to make in our mindset, he inherited a bunch of dormant leads, and he went in and started reactivating them.
And he found a lot of money. A lot of money.
But see, that's the thing. We even in our language that we use defeatist language. Dead leads. They're not dead. They're dormant. I mean, some of them might actually be dead, but most of them are dormant. And if they're dormant, they can be reactivated. So, and this is some of the examples we're talking about. They're not necessarily dead. Maybe the timing wasn't right for them. They just weren't ready when they were last contacted. Maybe they've just kind of forgotten about you because time passes. Maybe they just need a reason to talk to you again. There are so many reasons why people in your contacts database, wherever, they're just waiting for a reason to be reactivated. They're not dead, they're dormant. So sometimes your next customer isn't somebody you need to find, it's someone you need to reconnect with. And you really got to focus on that. So
absolutely.
Awesome. So now let's move on to the next group of people. You're going to go and try to reactivate the dormant people you already know. But now let's talk about people you can meet. Okay. We're going to expand now beyond people you already know, but you need to understand something. You don't always have to buy an introduction. You can create one. So you can ask customers for referrals, and I'm going to expand a little bit. You can ask existing customers if you have them for referrals, or you can ask people you know for referrals. Perfect example, I'm just going to throw in here real quick. When I had my carpet cleaning business, if my family needed their carpets cleaned, they would, of course, call me. But I wouldn't necessarily call them up and say, hey, sis, do you need your carpets cleaned? But I would say, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to get the carpets cleaned? People you know, friends, family members, just anybody you know, they're more than willing to promote your business to other people. They're more than willing to say, hey, I know somebody that could use your service. I know somebody that needs what you have. So asking people you know, customers or just people you know for referrals, huge, huge. Networking, kind of same, slight different version of what we just talked about, but networking is good. Local business groups, community organizations, strategic partnerships. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Complementary businesses and direct outreach. These are all important things. Bill honestly has a little more of a grasp on business groups and community organizations. So do you want to just touch on that real quick? And then I'll get into strategic partnerships.
Well, it's funny. I want to talk about referrals a little bit. I mean, seriously, talk about an under most people's underdeveloped category are referrals. When I was in lending, my goal was to create a business that was 100% referral base. And what was really kind of funny is I ended up going to a training called By Referral Only. And after a couple of years, I ended up building a business that was entirely referral based. It was fantastic. And now that I teach piano, I mean, all of my new students come from referrals. I've been active on a local Facebook group for my community and have posted, and I've been teaching here for 6 years in Phoenix. And so I get messaged all the time. I saw this post, or I saw somebody recommend you. I've had students recommend me to other potential students. And that's how I get my business nowadays is from referrals by other people. I mean, and the people that I've gotten by referral, they last way longer. They're way less headache. Oh my goodness. The referral people, they already come in knowing the expectations. So when I go over the rules of the studio, it's not like it's that big of a deal. They come prepared. And I think a lot of businesses don't take advantage of referrals. And to expand that even a little bit more, I've got a student whose grandmother brings her every week, who's a mobile notary. Well, I don't need notary services, like ever. However, we see people in the community posting all the time, "Hey, we're looking for a local mobile notary. Do you know anyone?" And my wife and I refer all the time. You know, when we first got here in our neighborhood, we had a home inspector, and the wife had gone, "Hey, if you guys know anybody, let us know. We'd appreciate the business." And so my wife would refer this home inspector out all the time. And now his business over the last 6 years has built up so much, he's booked a year in advance. And he's ended up creating a whole business doing home inspections on new builds just from referrals from other people. I mean, that's how powerful referrals can be. Now, the other one that is very underutilized, which Greg is going to cover, are strategic partnerships, because you just need to take advantage of that. So, Greg, why don't you tell us about that?
And you kind of touched on it. Who already has relationships with the people I want as customers? So, for example, and Bill kind of touched on this, realtors, mortgage brokers, home inspectors, moving companies, carpet cleaners, landscapers, cleaning services, all of these people exist in an area where they have a lot of overlap, but they don't compete, right? A realtor is trying to sell a house. He's going to need to utilize a mortgage broker and a title company and a home inspector. And then when somebody buys a house, they're going to need a mortgage broker and a home inspector and a moving company. And they'll probably want a carpet cleaner for the house they're going out of and the house they're going into. And they might want to do some landscaping to get the place spruced up. And they might want to have a cleaner going, clean the old house, clean the new house. I mean, all of these businesses are in the same little universe, but none of them are competing against each other. They're all complementary. So if you've got one of these businesses and you can start connecting with all of these other businesses to do cross promotion, to do just referrals, um, introduce one another, create a joint offer. These are ways that you can do strategic partnerships and get a lot of business, referral business, without spending a dime. And not only that, not only does it benefit you, but then you're going to run across people that, again, I keep going back to the carpet cleaning business. Lots of times I'm cleaning the carpets for somebody who's getting ready to sell their house. Oh, well, do you looking for anybody to do any landscaping? Do you need a moving company? Do you have a realtor? Do you already know where you're going to go for your loan? I mean, all of that. I can start throwing it first. So it's very, very beneficial to everybody involved in this. And those are not hard to set up. In fact, think about it. If somebody comes to you in your business and says, "Hey, I do a business that's complementary to yours. We don't compete. I'd like to send you customers and I'd like you to send me customers." What does it cost you? Zero. What does it get you? Referral customers. That is a very underutilized strategy to get a lot of referrals and get a lot of business.
It's true. It's so easy to do, to be able to just, partner up with people. So where do you go to find these people? I mean, there's networking events everywhere. You just have to look for them. But I don't even know what to say. I'll just let Greg talk again.
You were kind of going, most business owners will tell you that, word of mouth is the best way to get business. And that's true. So I want to ask you, what are you intentionally doing this week to generate more word of mouth? And if your answer is nothing, then you're really just what? I don't know, relying on hope rather than a system. Don't just hope people talk about your business. Give them a reason and an opportunity to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So now let's move on to the third group. And this is one I love. People who can find you. Okay, so we've talked about people you know. We've talked about people you can meet. But now let's talk about what can you do so that people can find you. The third group doesn't know you yet, but you don't necessarily have to pay to reach them. What you want to do is become findable and visible. And here's a bunch of ways to do that. Bill, do you want to take us through?
All right, so let me just share something. I don't know if you guys know who Grant Cardone is, and he has a book called The 10X Mentor. And it's, if you like real estate, he talks about real estate in the end. However, one of the things in there that's so fascinating is he talks about what it's like for him to go to events. And he says that it's not so important for him to know who the people are in the room, but it's who knows him in the room. So he wants to go into the auditorium or the wherever the heck he's speaking, and he wants everybody there to know who he is. Now, how on earth do we do that? Well, it's hard, but it's also easy. So in my Create OS, we call this, this is part of amplifying. And the way Greg and I have been talking about it the last few weeks, we've been calling it visibility. The only way for people to know who you are is you have to be visible. Now, obviously, in today's world, social media is the number one choice. It's the easiest free thing you can do to get visible, especially while you're broke and you've got no money for ads. So stop spending the money that you don't have and get visible first. Get the money and then spend lots of money on ads, because that'll take you to a bigger group of people who don't know who you are. But until then, focus on your social media presence. Have you optimized your social media profiles? Do you have a profile for business, or a page for business, or a company page for business? What are you doing to get visible? Here's another fun one. What's your Google presence like? Can people type in carpet cleaners, Phoenix, and have your name come up? Can they type in loan officers?
Seattle?
Yeah. If you live in Seattle, can you type in loan officers and have your name come up? It doesn't really matter where you are, but wherever your business is located, can people find you? Now, Greg and I have been doing our show for a couple of months now, and I just typed in spaghetti to strategy on Google, and it was kind of fun. We don't own the entire first page yet, because there's been a couple of people writing spaghetti strategy blog posts, but we do come up first and second and third, and then like seventh and eighth and stuff. Our YouTube page comes up, our Spotify page comes up. So, our website comes up, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page. All of those things are helping us become visible and having a Google presence. All right. And just a minute ago, I talked all about your local Facebook groups and your community groups. Oh my goodness. In mine, they have a thing called Marketing Wednesday, and they encourage all the small business owners in the community to post their local businesses. I mean, talk about an amazing free way to get noticed. I mean, I don't know how many people live in your community, but if you're not out in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, I mean, you probably have a community of at least a few thousand people, maybe a few 100,000 people. And if you're in a big city, a couple million people. Join your local community. Join your neighborhood community. A lot of neighborhoods have their own special community. And get to know the other people in it. All right, events. Events are cool. You can host an event. You can go to an event. And if you go to an event, how are you networking the event? I mean,
are you networking the event?
Yeah, are you even networking the event?
You don't go to an event just to be there.
No, you want to be noticed. And you want to notice others, right? Because now that goes into strategic partnerships. Who might you be able to partner with? And like what we're doing right now is we have our YouTube show and podcast, we're always looking for guests to be on our show that we can help promote. Who can you joint venture with? Whose show can you go on? Who can you host on your show? I mean, get out there, meet people. Reviews. Now, if you're like a service business, service brick and mortar business, you probably have reviews. Are they where people can see them? I don't know about you, but I Google all the time before I'm ready to start spending money. And then I decide who I want to spend money with. A lot of that's based off of reviews. Community involvement. I mean, if you're a local who's ingrained in your local community, how do you participate in it? Who are you helping? And most importantly, how many of those community members actually know you? You need to be known. Remember, you're broke right now. You don't have money for ineffective ads. We're trying to change that. And this is all these things that are on that list can help you change that. Speaking engagements, totally underutilized. You might think that there aren't any speaking opportunities. There are. Your community may have a local speaker meetup group or a speaker networking group where you can go meet other speakers. You can find groups or churches, community centers, depending on what you're in. I used to hold writers conferences and writer events where I'd bring a bunch of authors to like a public library, and all the authors could put up a little table. We'd bring people to the library. The authors could sell their book. I mean, there's ways to get out there. There's lots of ways to get out there. Unfortunately, since we're trying to help you get the money for ads, you've got to be proactive and do this yourself. I know a lot of us are introverts. I'm a huge introvert. Now, if we're using the definition of introvert, meaning how do you recharge? I recharge by myself. When I'm done with all this extroverted stuff, I go play the piano by myself for a little while. If you're an extrovert, then you definitely have no excuses why you're not doing all these things. Sharing your expertise. Well, that's kind of what Greg and I are doing right now. We're combining sharing our expertise and podcasts and speaking all at the same time. You can do that too.
Helpful content. Don't forget that one.
Oh, helpful content.
We're doing helpful content right now.
So here's a fun one. I'm sure a lot of you are a member of different Facebook groups that have nothing to do with your community, but has to do with things with your profession or just common interests. Instead of just posting like who you are and what you do you ever comment on others and actually offer helpful content? I don't know about you, but I read interesting posts. I read the comments all the time. And frequently I look up who the commenter is and try to see how active they are and what other useful content they've provided. And Facebook makes it super easy. If you've got somebody who's super active in a community or a page and you click on them and you're not friends, Facebook takes you to this page that shows that you've got this group in common and then all the posts that they've done or all the comments, so you can see how people are contributing. Do you want to be the person that people find? If so, you need to get out there making helpful content. So we've just covered a lot of different things that you can do to help people find you. Before that, we covered, reaching out to past clients. Now, I don't know, Greg, do you have any thoughts on any of this?
Yeah, remember, you're trying to make sure that when someone needs what you sell, what you offer, they know you exist. I was just thinking as you were talking, an example. Imagine you have two equally good businesses. Whatever the business is, doesn't matter. Business A rarely posts, has few reviews, doesn't participate in community. Nobody ever hears from them. They're kind of invisible, right? But business B regularly shares useful information, has customer reviews, participates in local groups and communities, Facebook groups. Make sure they stay visible. Remember, we're talking about two equally good businesses. But when somebody eventually needs that service, which business are they going to more likely go to and remember? The bottom line is you don't have to be famous. You just have to be familiar. That brings us to this week's challenge.
Oh, this is exciting, everyone.
I want to call this the 10-10-10 challenge. Not a very catchy name, but you'll see why. The 10-10 challenge. I want you this week in the next 7 days to reconnect with 10 past customers or people you already know and ask them for referrals, reactivation, whatever. I want you to connect with 10 people that you already know, whether they're previous customers, previous bids, friends, family members. Connect with 10 people and see if you can get any referrals, any new business out of them. Next, let's talk about 10 people you can meet. This is creating 10 new conversations through referrals, networking, partnerships, or direct outreach. So, for an example, you know what? I'm always talking about carpet clean. Let's talk about what I currently do and have been doing for some time. I have a marketing company. So let's say I'm out to lunch or dinner and the waiter or waitress is there. I could say, by the way, I own a small local marketing company. I don't know if you know anybody that's trying to build a business, trying to get exposure, trying to expand a business. But if you know anybody that needs marketing services of any kind, have them give me a call, hand them a business card. That's a direct outreach, right? I mean, it costs me nothing, easy to do, and very effective. Here's the thing. You might think, well, who's going to respond to that? Well, I don't know, but I can promise you this. 100% of the people that you don't approach are not going to do anything for you. A smaller percentage of the people you do approach will do something for you. So do you want 100% of nothing or a smaller percentage of something, right? The last one, create 10 opportunities to be found. Do 10 things that increase your visibility, whether it's posts, comments on other people's posts, community participation, review requests, whatever you want to do, get out there and do 10 different opportunities where people can then find you. So in 7 days, that's 30 opportunities to create attention without spending any money on advertising. I have a question for you, Bill. What would happen if you did this every single week?
That is a fantastic question. It would be transformative. Here's the thing. We don't like to reach out because it's uncomfortable, but there's only 3 ways that you can actually get exposure. One, you can buy ads. And for right now, we've determined that you don't have enough money to be buying ads. The second way is you doing it yourself. And the third way is you buy ads and do it yourself. So today we're really focusing on doing it yourself. And oh my goodness, if you created those 30 opportunities a week, took advantage of it, you meet new people, you find a way to be found, and you go look for opportunities, your business would fundamentally change, I believe, in 6 months. It'd be a completely different business. So how bad is it? Probably less. But how bad do you want what you say you want? Okay, so Greg's favorite thing that we talk about offline about change is that change is uncomfortable. This is a very uncomfortable change. But if we do it, our businesses will benefit from it. So I'm in. I'm in for the 10-10-10 challenge this week.
And I'm going to do it. I mean, I've got my business, but I'm going to participate in this challenge this week, just so everybody knows. I'm not just suggesting you guys do something that I'm not willing to do. I'm absolutely going to do this. So,
are you willing to do this? Are you willing to commit?
And it's easy to say no. It's easy to stay right where you're at. That's easy. It's not very effective, but it's easy. So, So anyway, let's summarize this. So if you don't have an advertising budget, start here. Go to the people you know, reconnect with them. Then start finding people you can meet, create conversations, create opportunities, start building relationships. And then start working on making it so people can find you, become visible. Get out there, start putting your name, your face, your business, get yourself out there, start becoming familiar. Again, not famous, familiar. Okay. So I want everybody to think about this. What could you do in each of these 3 areas this week? Not next month, not when you have a bigger marketing budget, this week. Think about that. And then do it. Okay. So I want to bring it back to our original question. How do I get customers when I don't have a big marketing budget? Well, you don't sit around waiting until you can afford one. You need to start creating attention with the resources that you already have. Advertising buys attention, but attention also buys attention. And once you have someone's attention, do something with it. And I'm going to repeat that again because this is huge and way too many entrepreneurs, small business owners, we skip this part. Once you have someone's attention, do something with it. Take action. Okay. Because next week, we're going to talk about what happens when you stop waiting for customers to come to you and you start taking control of customer acquisition yourself.
Man, I'm excited about that. How about you? This has been fantastic. If you found any value in this, subscribe so you don't miss the episode next week. And more importantly, share this with one other small business owner who might need some encouragement to think that they don't have to be spending money that they don't have yet for ads. The day will come, the money will be there to buy ads. But today, let's work on our own visibility. What can we proactively control? So this week, it's all about your visibility. Do the commit right now to do the 10-10-10 challenge. Greg and I are going to do it. We'll report on it next week, and we will see you in the next episode.